My name's Olivia Love Jones. I'm 21 years old, and I hope to one day, if not career-wise, just to be able to be an inspiration to other people.
My name is Michael. I'm 17 and I like to inspire the world.
Okay.
My name is Joy with an I. I'm 17 years old, and what I want to do in life is to lead.
What's the hardest part about being a young adult?
Having responsibilities.
For me, I think just expressing myself and not being ridiculed for it.
Okay. Joy, what's the hardest part about being a young adult?
Recognizing the real world.
Okay.
Deep.
And describe that, Olivia, what you just said. Describe why is it so hard for you to express yourself?
I just think because sometimes people, if they perceive you a certain way and you've been like this for so long, when you try to change it, it's like, I don't know why they get scared or shocked. Like, it's always been me. I've just never acted upon it because I felt like I would be judged for it. And I don't like being judged. Nobody does, you know? So for me, it was just the judgment behind wanting to express myself.
Michael, what do you mean? Why is it so hard? What's the hardest thing about being a young adult, and why is that hard for you to do?
Being a young adult, it's like when you're a kid and you're transforming into a teenager, then an adult, it's like you get more responsibilities on responsibilities. And it's like time consuming in a way to me. And it's like I procrastinate a lot, which I shouldn't, but I do. So that's why I find it hard.
Okay. Joy?
So the reason why I think it's hard for us young adults to realize the real world is because nowadays us young adults are too busy focusing on sex and all the stuff that is like really not important. And so for us young adults to go into like the state of mind of an actual adult, it's kind of hard for us to.
What's today's biggest problem? What's the world's biggest problem? What do you think the world's biggest problem is?
Discrimination.
Discrimination.
I just think people don't care anymore. There's no sense of human compassion, human decency, just being nice to people, you know, because you never know what people are going through, and people are just always attacking you from any type of way.
Yeah, judgment.
Judgment.
Colorism.
Yeah.
Colorism? Speak about that. Colorism.
I feel like colorism is really a big thing. People say they don't see it, but you could be doing it and not knowing it. Colorism, like...
Describe colorism for the watchers, for the viewers who don't know what that is.
Colorism is when you discriminate within your race. So you can, like with Asian, like people would rather honor the people who are paler, who are more like whitish, than the Asians who are darker with African American. You'll see people mistreat dark skins, not mistreat them, but treat them a different way rather than light-skinned people and white people.
Okay. Why is that such a big problem?
I just think people don't appreciate their own selves, like appreciate their skin they're in. So they gotta attack and do this to other groups of people. But like, if you know who you are and you're confident in who you are and your skin and everything that is about you, then I feel like you appreciate all aspects of people of your one race or just the people you encounter every day.
Have you ever experienced colorism?
To me, it's like everybody around us does it. You can't say that you don't do colorism. Everybody does it.
So do you think it's more common on females than males?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's systematic.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is it more common? Explain that.
For one, females, put in African American section, females, we are females. We started off
Being
raising the
inferior.
kids,
On a rocky
feeding our
start.
husbands, doing that. So when we started, slowly developing to us voting, and to which us having the same jobs as men, it's like it's a hard thing to cooperate with. So the male likes to be the dominant, and they think that we're supposed to be below them, when actually we're, if not higher, right there by them.
Equal. I believe in a equal playing field. Like, all of us, we're on the same playing field. Like, I don't like people assuming I can't do my job or that I can't do this or do that and the other. Even when it comes to like my height or when it comes to like me being a female, like I don't let those obstacles get in the way because I know I can do it. Even if everybody else doesn't believe me, I know I can, because why count me out when you don't even know everything that I am capable of, everything I'm trying to one day aspire to be able to accomplish.
Joy, do you want to say anything on that, Joy?
He
Okay.
pretty much said it.
Okay. So with all the problems in the world, colorism and I think we said about sex, how do we fix it? How, as young people, as African American women like you guys, how do we fix the problem?
I guess a day at a time. Just every day waking up knowing who you are and whose you are. Waking up knowing that it may be a hard day, maybe a rough day, a good day, or whatever, but that doesn't give you an excuse to be rude or evil or mean to other people. Just keeping your head up and making it one day at a time, because really that's all we can do is go one day at a time, because tomorrow's never guaranteed anyway.
Because honestly, people, they feed off what you give them. So if you positive to someone, I guarantee they're going to be positive back. If not, it takes time, but it's feeding off. So if you tell, it's like when we talked about in class, if you tell someone they're beautiful constantly, it's like planting a seed. Like you're growing it. And eventually that person will believe they're beautiful. I mean, I'm not saying that they need someone to tell them every single time that they're beautiful.
But it helps.
But to believe they are.
Joy, how do we fix the problem?
Just let your voice be heard, and let your voice be heard, even though it may take a long time. Just stay focused on the situation, and if it, just keep going with that down that road.
What's misunderstood about young people today? What? Don't speak up now.
Oh, go ahead.
That they're not smart, because I know older, like parents, they always think that we're too busy focused on our phones and all that stuff. I mean, that probably is the case. But us kids, we're also like smart. We like pay attention to stuff like that. Some of us do, but I know I do. But yeah, they just need to stop seeing us as kids that focus more on electronics and all that stuff. So yeah.
I agree. Parents and adults, like, they feel like we don't know everything. Like, especially with adults who have their children sheltered. They won't ever experience anything if you have them sheltered. Like, some people say they know their kids, but you don't truly know your kids behind closed doors at all. You don't know. You might see them as a bad, misbehaved kid and all this stuff, but in reality, they're probably just alone. Like, they stay to themselves, stuff like that. And I just feel like parents don't actually know their children enough to say that.
You shaking your head, Joy. Why you say that?
So
Why you shaking your head? You said, when she said parents don't know the children, you said, why is that?
Cause their mind is always like, oh, I'm right, they're wrong, so I'm just gonna, try to prove them that I'm right. And personally, it's very tiring. And I'm
Very tired. What's very tiring?
like them always thinking that they're right and thinking, like when they say, oh, don't smart mouth me, when you're trying to, like, if you want
Just
your voice
talk.
to be heard, we're just trying to talk. Don't accuse us of being smart mouth.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to put our opinion out. We want you to hear us. If you're telling us to, like, oh, let them know that, hey, this is wrong. And if we're trying to do that to you, don't accuse us of being smart mouth.
Can you relate to that?
Yeah, I feel like there's just a lack of being able to feel like it's safe enough to talk and being able to say what it is you need to say without it being misconstrued as you talking back or like what's your deal type deal, or you got an attitude type deal. Like, no, like there have been plenty of days where I have been down in the dumps, depressed and all this stuff, and I don't believe or even think my parents would ever remotely know, and so it's just like you want to be able to come to them, but sometimes it's impossible.
Michael?
I agree with Joy, because there is parents, when y'all are having a disagreement and you make a valid point, and
You
they
get shut down.
yes,
Right.
they
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
more on you. It's like, no,
They
you're
feel
wrong.
like they're the victim in the
Yeah.
They
argument.
feel
That's
more.
it.
Yeah, it's
like
just
they're being attacked when you're the one
Yes.
being
Yeah.
attacked.
I feel like sometimes we not like we don't get an equal chance to say what it is we need to say
Which
and be
causes you
heard.
not to
We're
talk
children.
Talk
anymore.
at all, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
and it's like some people they'll let it go. Like I'm personally, I'll have it in me for a good minute. I'll be like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, why did she do
Mhm.
that? This is
I'll just say,
annoying.
You get to the point,
and
yeah,
I
you
just
don't
walk
even
away.
want to
Because I
try
hate arguing
anymore.
anyways. It got to the point where I do not care if I'm wrong or right. I'm just gonna let it go
Yeah.
because it's not worth it. I'm not trying to hold a grudge. I'm not finna bring it back up. Which parents do that?
Yeah,
Mostly
but then-
people in
Messy.
African American
Yeah.
culture.
Parents can be messy.
But then I feel like from keeping it in or like brushing it off, then you're sitting with that frustration and that anger and that lack of being able to
Yeah.
relieve yourself from whatever problem or situation it was. And sometimes people can hold on to that forever, and it can cause you to eat up inside. Like you can lose it that way.
Like I saw this picture on Instagram. It was like the things that you did say in an argument that you never thought of saying. You just said it, and then there was this other picture saying the things that after the argument was like done, the things that you should have said, and it was like
So when you're really in an argument, I didn't mean to cut you off. When you're in an argument, you're just speaking out of anger. You don't know.
Definitely.
And you never really get nothing accomplished.
Yeah.
And parents do that sometimes.
Yeah.
They do that sometimes. They demean you. And I know they mean well,
They do.
but we want to be heard,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, good. What's one problem that older adults don't understand about young adults?
We go through hard stuff too.
Yes.
Okay, like some days are hard, just like them. Like we work as well, we go to school and stuff like that. And I feel like sometimes we are not seen as like we going through anything. You know that saying when your parents come home and you be like, "You been here all day, girl. I've been here since 5. What you mean I've been here all day? I've not been here all day." So it's just like, oh, it's like don't discount me in my struggles because I am trying to do the best that I can, not only for myself, but to make sure that they're proud and everybody else is proud. Because it's hard. Like, some days are really hard to be able to keep it together, for sure.
Okay. Do you feel like your vote matters?
No,
Why?
I just feel like it doesn't matter because I can vote, but I feel like they won't count my vote.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Exactly.
yes and no. Like, I feel like our voices do count, and like we've had a bigger
Yes.
representation from younger adults and all that stuff from this past election than we did with the presidential election. But if they're not gonna count them right, and if they're not gonna properly represent us, then no, our voices don't mean crap to them. I mean, we're out there and we're voting and stuff like that, but you always hear, oh, there's fraudulent counting here, fraudulent representation here, and I'm just like,
So,
can we get it together?
so what I hear you saying is that because of how the past elections were ran, you feel like your vote doesn't matter.
No,
Okay.
like we voted, but that don't mean nothing. That's like when somebody asks you what you want to eat, and then they be like, oh, we not going there. Then why did you ask?
Oh,
But
yeah,
anyway.
swear.
I can't vote yet, so I can't really.
But sorry, you like and like with Joy, like yeah, like I can vote, Gail can vote, and we want to be able to make sure that the people after us can vote. But I feel like there's just a lack of education about the things we're voting for, why we're
Yes.
voting for this, what does
Yes.
that mean, and stuff like that. So I feel like there's more behind it, but like overall, I feel like if we're not properly being counted and represented, then no, our voices don't matter, but they should, because they do. But if the right people aren't doing what they're supposed to, then it's kind of hard to see the bright side out of any
Gotcha.
of it.
Gotcha. And Joy, you said you haven't voted yet. Will you vote?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Good.
Why is it so important to vote?
Because
If you don't want your voice to be heard, if you don't want your voice to be heard, out of your mouth, then you could put your voice down on that paper. And, like she said,
So you guys are not saying don't vote.
no,
No,
not
what
at
I'm
all.
saying-
You're just saying that
know
you
what
feel
you're
like
voting
vote-
for.
Okay.
Know what
just
you're
know what
voting
you're
for,
voting
but
for.
definitely, yeah.
And like, don't just go up there and be like, oh,
Yeah, like
circle,
like
and then
no,
go.
for sure.
Like before you vote, go talk to some people. Go talk to your parents. Like I know when I
They
turn
keep
18
up,
next
yeah.
year, well, when the next voting thing happens, that I'm going to talk to my parents and talk to them politically about like what's going on. Because to be honest, I don't really know what's going on politically.
I swear.
I just have the news
feel you.
notifications on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it means.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, because like,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
my bad. Because if I do vote or when I vote, I'm gonna vote for what I want.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there is
That's what I'm
so
saying.
many
Make
people
sure.
who voted for what their family want. I mean, I
Yes.
get
They're being
that,
followers.
but at the same
Yes.
time, you gotta vote for what you want. If you've done all your research and you looked up everything that you
Yeah.
wanted to know about the person, then you vote for that person,
Definitely.
Democrat or Republican. It's your decision. It doesn't. It's up
Yeah.
to you.
So with this, for the election we voted for governor, right? One thing I did find is that, like, you know how people are like, oh, I'm Democrat or oh, I'm Republican? Well, sometimes certain situations, like the way they're represented by whichever party, sometimes you will switch. So, like, you
Yes.
can still be Democrat, still be Republican, but it's like, it depends on how it's going to be handled and things like that you agree with. So I think just education is the most important thing, especially going into voting. It's like, be educated, talk to people, but make the decision based off of how you feel and the needs that you want to be met.
Yeah, but what do you say to young adults who don't feel like voting is important?
It is though. Like, okay,
It
it's
is.
crazy. Like,
Yes.
it's like basically, no, that's not an oxymoron. It's twisted because yes, our voices are supposed to matter and they do matter, but I think because of the lack of being properly counted and stuff like that, it doesn't feel like it when it's supposed to. It's
Which
like
causes them not to vote.
yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
right that we're supposed to have, that our voices do count. Like, that's what we fought for and stuff like that, but people aren't doing what they're supposed to do on their end, and it portrays a negative connotation between voting and all this other kind of stuff. Because I know plenty of people who was like, oh, I'm not going to vote, blase, blase, blase. I was like, voting is important because one day, someone, hopefully, God forbid, it never happens, one day our voices will be properly represented, and that's when you know your voice and your vote means the most,
Yeah.
when someone's actually going to do what they're supposed to. So yes, go and vote, speak your mind, stand for what you believe in, you know, but
Yeah. So, President Trump
Yeah.
is now officially building the wall. And according to resources, he said that it will cost $1 billion, I think, per day. I could be wrong. But he's now building the wall. I actually did not believe him at first. But now he's actually building the wall. What do you feel about some of the subjects or some of the things that President Trump is doing now in the office?
I actually heard about the wall thing, and I heard that he said that he was gonna. It was something about somebody stopped building the wall for something. I forgot. I wish I would have heard it clearly. But I feel like there's certain things that he does, like he has some intentions, but it's like the way he pulls it out is very terrible.
right.
Like
Right.
if he was to say it a different way, not even that, but
I think
like
just to go about it
Yeah.
all differently. Like, not everyone. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
exaggerating like he did. I'm good.
Yeah. So, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, why don't you like him? Why don't you like him? Blah, 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 blah. I don't like people who just take and belittle and ostracize people just because they feel like they can or feel like they're better than everyone. That's why I personally don't like Trump. I don't feel like he is for the people as he... I don't know. I guess he is for the people that believe in him, but like overall, like, is he really evaluating the greater good in every group of people, not just the one group that's paying him, you know? Because like he's a human being and I can't just hate him just because, but I just like, I believe in people and the lives of people and like how people live and the well-being of other people. And so for me, I personally feel like he's not for that. He's not doing that, or at least he's not doing it in a ethical and proper way in my eyes. I feel like he's just here to attack the people who can't defend themselves, you know?
Do you think Hillary should have won?
I feel like that was a hard
Okay,
debate. I
go
feel like
ahead.
that was a hard debate because you had the Hillary thing with the emails, like you don't know if that's true or false or anything. Then you had Trump. I wouldn't have not voted for Trump, and it was. I feel like I know why a lot of people didn't vote that year because it was a hard decision.
They're like both
Very hard.
strong people,
Yeah.
and
Like
they
Trump?
both like
I feel like he's careless of the people. All he thinks about is money. Because I'm thinking, what is he gonna do after the wall is built? Like after that's done, you've been talking about it. It's done. What's next? I feel like he won't have nothing else.
Yeah, so I personally, I was able to vote in that election and I didn't because I didn't like my choices. And now that I look back on it, I should have made sure I educated myself more. So that's why I definitely push like voting now because you see like when you don't vote what can happen. But I feel like I didn't vote in that election because I just didn't like my choice. I feel like both parties were just being extra for no reason. But
just being scary.
yeah, and it was just like it just seemed like a bad movie in a way. Like is this really what we got to choose from? It's like choosing to change a baby's diaper or picking up dog crap. Like they both stink.
Dog crap.
And so I personally didn't vote in that election. I wish I had it, but I also wish I would have educated myself to make a proper decision.
What inspires you?
What inspires me?
Well, what inspires all of you? I want you guys to
Inspires
I know.
yourself.
I don't know why it's that.
That's okay.
I don't know. What just the little things in life. You know, the smile of a young child, the smile on anybody's face. You know, things that make you feel good. You know, that make your heart swell. Please take that out. But
I'm gonna leave it in there.
I just think the precious things in life, the things that give you that warm, tingling feeling inside.
What inspires, like, what inspires me is like, yes, like a strong black African American woman. Like, I
Who?
love,
Name some people.
I love
me.
Taraji B. Henson, Gabrielle Union. I love her. Zendaya,
Oh yeah,
Inspiration.
What do they
She is my
represent for you?
inspiration.
Why do you love them so much?
Because they represent, like Zendaya, she's a tall, skinny girl, and she expresses that. Like she expresses her body. She's a model. She's a singer, an actress. It's just she's amazing. She keeps a positive energy. Like she says herself. Like she's always herself. Yeah. I'm not personal. I don't know her personally, but what she puts out, she says herself. Like she doesn't do anything dramatic because she doesn't know who she is, or try to impress anybody. And Gabrielle Union, I just love her. She's
I feel
amazing.
like from the people that you mentioned, I feel like there are strong women that don't take challenges lightly. Like they will push and push and push and push and push all the boundaries and all the things that they'll have to overcome, and they will speak their mind and stand up for those who can't fight for themselves and be true and authentic to themselves. They stand for something, and I think that's one of the biggest things to get out of life is to don't settle. You know what you believe, know what you stand for, so you can do amazing things in the world from your standpoint, because I feel like a lot of times we're all just searching and fumbling around because we feel like we don't know what it is we want to do, who we want to be, and stuff like that. But when you do find out, like, go and run with that and do everything you can in your power to remember who you are and what you wake up in the morning to do.
Who inspires you, Joy?
Who inspires me? A lot of people inspire me, but I
Name
actually
one person. If you had one person to say who inspires you that you would want to meet, who would it be?
Michelle Obama.
Why?
The reason why I love her so much is she's the first black African American president wife. Yes,
lady.
president's wife.
First lady, they married.
President. Okay, and my mom, she has her book Becoming, and I said
Who
that
bought it? I'm scared.
once my mom was done reading it, I want to read it, and just sometimes I look at her biography on Wikipedia, and I was just like, wow, this lady is amazing. She's very powerful, and I'm going to, with my mom, to her little what's it called?
Book tour?
Yes, I am.
Where?
It's in Atlanta. I forgot where, but it's in Atlanta. I'm going with my mama. But I was like, I want to
Maybe
go.
you should see this video before you see her.
Yes.
Yes, get you a copy so she can sign it.
Yeah.
I know. I want one.
Okay, so big question here. What do you say to that little girl that is watching this?
I would tell her Don't be like me. Be better than me. Like,
Yes.
don't be just like me. Express your curls. Love your hair,
Yes, girl.
and just be yourself. You don't have to impress nobody. If you see other girls with soul wings, you ain't gotta put them in. Just be yourself, 100%. Find you, love you, and don't be like anybody else. Basically.
Yeah. I have 4 younger sisters following behind me, and to all 4 of them, I want them to know that I love them, God loves them, their parents love them, and to never be afraid to express who you are, to be who you are, and that no matter what decision you make, I am always here to support them, to catch them, to carry them through, no matter what it is they're going through in life.
I would say, let your voice be heard, because us girls now, we are too scared to the point where we don't want our voice to be heard. We could be like big and bold in front of somebody, but behind closed doors, we're very shy, and like we don't want to be picked on for what we think. So let your voice be heard, be humble, stay positive, and just know that you are beautiful in every way. Don't let no guy, don't let nobody, not even the other girl, tell you anything different.
Definitely not. Don't let nobody try you.
Don't do that, because you know that you are one strong, amazing, black, whatever,
Yes,
whatever race you are beautiful and you are strong.
And I just got one more thing to say.
Ooh, yo, you gonna make me cry, girl.
I got one more thing to say. So, if you're a little black African American girl, white, Hispanic, whatever, and for those who don't have a father in their life, and some people, they don't, like, because of that, they don't know what a real man is or how to be loved, especially if you have a mother who's been through man to man to man. Just know that you don't have to follow in those footsteps,
Yeah.
and that you can actually try to find, if you haven't experienced or seen love, try to find your own love.
Yep.
In a way.
In a
'Cause
good place.
Exactly. You don't have to travel from boyfriend to boyfriend.
Sure don't.
No, thank you, next.
Thank you.
But learn from your experiences. You're gonna make mistakes, and no one's gonna be mad at you for
Yes.
it. As long as you
Yes.
made them and you learn from them,
Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
one
grow
thing.
from them. If
Don't
you just
hold-
stay there, it's
Yeah. And
You
it's
just
okay
letting
to make
yourself-
mistakes. I
It
feel
is
like that's
okay. We all
something
make
we
mistakes.
kind of like shy away, especially I feel like for me being the oldest child out of my sisters, like sometimes making mistakes is like a bad thing. And I'm just like, I feel like I have to live in this life of perfection, but I'm not perfect. I will never be perfect, and it's okay. It's okay to fall and make mistakes, to be who you are, and never be afraid of that. Don't ever be afraid of who you are.
What do you expect? This will be my last question, and then I'll ask one more after that, and then we'll wrap it up. What do you expect out of this generation? Your generation. What do you expect out of your generation?
To definitely lead the way so the rest of the generations can be just as expressive, just as bold, just as courageous, to do the same, to just make sure it's a positive push forward every year, every generation, to never revert back to old and horrible ways, to always get better, to always be better than the next.
I say to our generation, that we should be very supportive in the next generation. I'm not saying on the negative things, but on the positive things. If they want to be a little astronaut, you support that little girl, little boy, and tell them they can be an astronaut if they get good grades.
Just be very encouraging, because nowadays, us young adults, this generation is known for like bringing each other down, and I just want that to just stop, and I want everybody to just bring each other up and stop focusing on someone's negative side of them. Focus on a positive and just love each other.
Yep.
One word to describe women.
Beautiful.
Magical.
Powerful.
Okay. Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
I think we did a lot.
I did not expect it to be like this, but I thank you for using this platform.